Happy Monday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, as well as Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So let's get right into our weather headlines. We do have that continued risk to see some mostly wind, but marginally severe hail is not out of the question in the northeast, and we do have a few other small areas as well, including the Dakotas and a specific city in Missouri. I mean, we're not going to jinx it, but we'll talk about that in just a second. And then we do have some more marginal chances tomorrow for both hail and wind, mostly in the Tennessee Valley, but there will be some other areas as well. And then that heat continues, but is there some relief in sight, at least some temporary relief? We'll talk about that as well. But before we get to our forecast, we do have one event coming up. This is the Riva the Roofing Machine in Orlando, Florida this Wednesday. It's going to be at the Rosen Center Hotel, so make sure you come on by and join us there. Hail Trace will be there as well. So here are yesterday's storm reports. There are actually a good amount of reports that came in, especially for wind. We're going to zoom on in here first into the northeast, where most of that activity did occur, from parts of eastern Ohio into Pennsylvania northeastward into New York and Massachusetts, all the way down to Connecticut, and even a few up here in Vermont, so up into Maine as well. So there was that area, and then we had some scattered reports here in the southeast, as well as into parts of southern Illinois and Indiana. And then we also had a few reports in eastern Colorado. And lastly, we had some activity in northern Wyoming into Montana. Billings, you got some hail yesterday. We have a 2-star map available for you guys on our site if you're in that region. So here's a look at our current conditions across the lower 48. It's quite active at this time. There are a few areas that we're going to be watching for today. The first one is right here in the northeast. We have a cold front that is moving on through, and it's sparking some thunderstorm activity. We have a severe thunderstorm watch out from Maine southward into parts of northern New Jersey. And that's going to be around for a few hours as this line continues to track off to the east, and we get some more thunderstorm activity developing as we go throughout the day. And then we have some rain occurring in the middle of the country, Omaha down to Kansas City, southeastward to St. Louis, even near Sioux Falls, South Dakota. You guys are dealing with some showers right now. And then we have another cold front moving into parts of northeastern Montana, and we're going to be watching parts of the Dakotas within the next few hours into tonight for some scattered severe weather possible there. So here are temperatures across the U.S. You can see that rain is really cooling us down in the middle of the country. We need that rain, and I mean, just the relief from the heat is very much welcome. It's only 69 in Kansas City right now, 75 in Fort Wayne. That heat, though, is still very much here in the southern plains. It's 96 in Dallas, 93 in Houston, and that heat stretches eastward right along and ahead of that cold front. It is 87 down in Atlanta and 88 down in Miami. In our current dew points, it is very sticky out there with that, not just the rain here in the middle of the country, but also down along and ahead of this system that's producing that severe weather in the northeast. We have a 69-degree dew point in Atlanta, 73-degree dew point in Miami, as well as New Orleans. So plenty of heat and humidity to fire some thunderstorms this afternoon into this evening. Now let's take a look at our future radar. You guys know how this rolls. This is just one particular run of one particular model. But right now we do have some thunderstorms here in the northeast, basically from Maine southwestward into parts of southern Pennsylvania into the Virginias. As we continue to go through this afternoon, you can see some more storms are expected to fire along and ahead of that cold front. And then as we get later on into the evening, we could see some more redevelopment right along that front here in parts of Connecticut. This is at 9 p.m. Eastern time. But for the most part, besides parts of Connecticut, as we get into the overnight hours, that part of the front should make its way off of the East Coast, and we'll just have some lingering showers around as we continue through the overnight hours there. Now getting into parts of Missouri into the Tennessee Valley, we again have some showers and storms going on right now. And as we continue to go through this afternoon, more storms are expected to fire along that front. And this is at 5 p.m. Central Time. Just to the east of Nashville, we can get some stronger storms forming there. And then getting into the later evening hours, we could see some more severe weather in parts of southern Missouri, as well as into the northern parts of the state as well. And getting into the overnight hours, you can see even more development of storms are expected. This is at 1 a.m. Central Time. So storms are possible basically from southern Illinois, parts of Missouri. I think the best chance for severe weather, though, will be in the central part of Missouri, including Kansas City. I think the chances are going to be on the lower side, should be pretty marginal, but the chance is there. So let's roll this forward into 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see that activity will continue to spread to the east here, and we can see some more thunderstorms into parts of southern Indiana, Kentucky, and eventually getting into parts of southern Ohio. So now let's get into the northern plains. There is a possibility to see some hail in the Rapid City area within the next few hours. So this is at 12:30. We go forward in time here, 1:30 Central Time, so 12:30 Mountain Time. We have to watch the Black Hills region for the possibility of a storm or two popping up there. And then we get through this evening. A few more storms are possible in the southern part of the state, but we're going to zoom out here as we get later on into the evening. This is at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central Time. There's a possibility for a few isolated storms to develop here in parts of western North Dakota and the northern parts of South Dakota. And as we go through the overnight hours, we could see some potentially severe weather entering Bismarck at midnight Mountain Time up into the northeastern part of the state. And then this will continue to move off and die a bit as we near daybreak tomorrow morning. So let's break it all down here. Here is today's hail forecast. We do have a few areas that we're going to be watching. The first one is right here in the northeast. The chances of hail are going to be on the low end. That's why I have all the green markers here. And I think the hail sizes shouldn't get any larger than $0.50 if those storms are able to produce hail at all. I think the chances for wind are going to be a lot larger up here, but that hail chance is not zero. So anywhere from Portland down to Boston, westward to maybe as far west as Albany down to Philadelphia, you guys have a chance to see anywhere from $0.25 to $0.50 size hail there. And those chances will start to diminish as that cold front pushes off to the east. And then we have another area, including Kansas City. This will be later on tonight into the overnight hours with that storm development that we just saw a few minutes ago. So Kansas City eastward into parts of western Illinois. You guys can see up to $0.50 size hail there. And then lastly, up into the Dakotas, Rapid City, northward to Bismarck, we can see up to $0.50 size hail there. Rapid City, it will be within the next few hours. Bismarck will be later on this evening. And then in terms of wind, basically some of the same areas, and like I just mentioned, the wind threat's going to be higher than the hail threat here in this eastern risk. So let's zoom into this one first. We have a moderate chance to see up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts from Portland down to Boston, southwestward to Philadelphia. This is going to be the best chance to see those severe winds. And then some lower end chances from Richmond to Charleston to parts of eastern Kentucky and into the eastern half of Tennessee. So Knoxville, you can get some severe gusts with any of those pop-up storms along that front. And then to Kansas City we go with those storms that develop later on tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. We can see up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts there. And then lastly, up into the Dakotas, we can see some severe gusts for those storms that develop later on this evening and into the overnight hours there. So Bismarck, eastward to Fargo, again, 60-mile-per-hour gusts are possible there. Now getting into tomorrow morning, it's going to be a mess as we wake up basically from central Missouri into Illinois and then eastward into Indiana and Kentucky, Ohio, so basically the Ohio Valley westward. It's going to be a bit wet out there, but we need that rain, so it is welcome. But as we get into the afternoon, that activity will start to push off to the east here. So eastern Kentucky, you'll still be dealing with some stronger storms as well as into parts of Tennessee. But then as we get later on into the evening, you can see some more storms are expected to fire up here in parts of southern Missouri. And then continuing through the evening, some more redevelopment here in southeastern Missouri. So some severe weather is possible there. I think it's mostly going to be wind. I was looking at the parameters for hail, and it just doesn't look like at this time it's really going to happen. So again, I think it's going to be more of a wind threat tomorrow, but then getting into tomorrow evening and into the overnight hours on Wednesday morning, you can see more storm development is expected here in Missouri, not just the central part, but the northern part, as well as into western Illinois. So it's going to be multiple rounds of stronger storms here, although I think for the most part, it's just going to be wind and a lot of, rain. But we will see what the atmosphere does with these multiple rounds, and if we can get, any, building back up of that instability. So here we go for tomorrow morning in the west. We'll have some storms going on in parts of northern Nebraska, and then as we continue to go throughout the day, there'll just be a few showers around, and then this is at 5 p.m. Central Time. Notice these storms firing up here in the central part of the state. And you can also see some storms firing up in Colorado at this time. I don't think these storms are going to get really, robust. It may just be general storms. Some moisture may be an issue, but we'll keep an eye on that as we get into tomorrow to see if there'll be any changes for you guys in Denver. I know you guys really want some storms. And then as we go through tomorrow evening, this is at 9 p.m. Central Time, some more storms are expected to develop here in southern Nebraska, and then in eastern Colorado and into western Kansas. And then those will move off to the east and start to die off a bit. And another round may be forming early Wednesday morning. So here is tomorrow's hail forecast. Again, we're just going to have this one particular area in the central part of the U.S. I think the activity that will be happening tomorrow in the Tennessee Valley and Ohio Valley is going to be mostly wind. So let's zoom on in here for tomorrow. Up to $half size hail is possible from North Platte westward to Cheyenne. And basically that's the only area right now. Again, we'll be keeping an eye on it, you guys down in Denver at this time, though. Again, I don't think that there's going to be really much of severe weather, but things can change, and Mother Nature loves to throw us surprises, as we all know. And then for wind, basically the same area in the Central Plains, but then we have this larger area for tomorrow with those multiple rounds of storms. So St. Louis to Cincinnati, down to Nashville, eastward to Charleston, West Virginia, all the way to Richmond, Virginia, down into North Carolina. We can see up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. And then this same area that we just mentioned about the hail from North Platte westward to Cheyenne, Wyoming. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, we can see up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts with those storms. Now, with the heat, I know it's been really hot out there. It's been a little bit better, but now we're starting to get hot once again here in the southern plains as well as into the Mississippi Valley. But then look at this. This is another new area here. The Northwest is now starting to heat up as well. So we have those heat advisories and those excessive heat warnings out. You guys know the deal. If you have to go outside, make sure you drink plenty of water, stay hydrated, stay inside unless you really have to go out, because it's going to be another dangerous day, and unfortunately it's going to continue. But there may be a little bit of relief on the way, although it's going to be only for a few days. Let's take a look at our featured jet stream. Here's that trough in the northeast that's producing that severe weather right now. And as we continue to go through the day here, this is another low disturbance that we'll be watching here in the northern plains, and then another wiggle here in parts of Missouri. And as we go into tomorrow morning, this trough will start to move off to the east, and then we'll have this next one moving on in that will give us the potential for severe weather tomorrow in parts of the northern plains here, as well as in the Missouri area. And then continuing into Wednesday and into Thursday, here comes this trough. We could see some cooler weather here in the northern part of the country. Still going to be hot in the southern part, but then on Friday you can see those temperatures aren't going to be as hot here in the southern states. So we are expecting some relief as we get into Friday and into our weekend. So this is Friday morning, and then getting into Saturday morning. Yes, I know it still looks really hot here, but we are expecting some rain, which will keep our temperatures down. So here is Wednesday. Again, some storms basically in the same areas that we're going to be seeing tomorrow, from Illinois and Missouri eastward into the Ohio Valley and into parts of Pennsylvania and the Virginias. And then another area once again in Nebraska and parts of northern Kansas and northeastern Colorado. So basically, same deal that we're seeing tomorrow will be happening on Wednesday. So another active few days, you guys. That's all that I have for you. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and our TikTok page. With it being active and with those surprise storms that have been happening, you don't want to miss anything. So make sure you have us followed on all these pages. And if you have any questions, concerns, if you just want to say hi, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. You can email us at info@hilltrace.com and check out our website at www.hilltrace.com. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday.